Welcome back to the Family Focus. My name is Derek, and as always, I am here with Jason. And we have a special guest, a guest who is close to us, who we are excited to finally have on the show. Um, special guest, introduce yourself. And I say that just because we're cool with you, so I feel like we don't have to be totally formal.
He's been
Yeah,
on
of
the
course.
show though.
Yes, I have. Thanks for having me on, boys. If you guys don't know me, I'm Jack Prokopis, good friend of Jason and Derek's, and ready to talk some Sox.
And we are
Better friend
excited
of
to have
mine.
Jack.
Screw you, Derek.
What?
I said better friend of mine. Screw you.
That's okay. That's okay. Um, but I don't know, we're excited to have Jack on the show, but I think the main thing is we uh we have a decent amount to talk about. But I think we have to just start with the fact that we were discussing what we wanted to cover first adding into the show, and everyone says Memorial Day is kind of the time when you really can look at your team and go, you have a good enough sample size to figure out whether or not your team is good or bad. And when it comes to this Red Sox team, we still might not know the answer because you can make the argument they've looked good at times, they look bad at times, but at the end of the day, there's one word to describe them, and that is mid. 27 and 28. They're only 6.5 games out of the division and only 2.5 out of the wild card, and we're still only in May, but there's very much a sizable sample there. That's what 55 games in, so very sizable sample size. Jason, I'll start with you. Just overall, how do you feel about the Red Sox first, basically 2 months of the season?
I feel pretty crappy about it. No, because you went in the year. You expected a lot more. You expected them to be atop of the AL East. You expected them to be this powerhouse in Jesus Christ ACC. I'm college brain today. No, atop the AL, but they're not. They're pure mid. They have the exact same identity. They blow games late. They'll win a couple good games against good teams. Then against the mid teams that they should be beating up on, they'll lose, like today against Baltimore, the 18 and 34 Baltimore Orioles, who are in last place in the AL East, against Dean Kramer, who has us over ERA over 5 right now, even after winning, pitching against you like prime Clemens for some reason. I know he only went 5 1/3, but man, like he gave up no runs. This pitching staff for Baltimore is bad. The Red Sox on paper should be raking against it, and they're not. They made 3 errors today, including that little league homer. This is just an example of this identity is the same. And you said it, Derek, around Memorial Day. You have the sample size. It's a good sample size, actually. Granted, it doesn't completely define a team, but you can only go off of what you can go off of, and the things that the Red Sox can have to go off of is the games they've played against pretty bad teams too. They played Baltimore, they played the White Sox twice. I could go on, and they're not good against them. I know they won the series against Baltimore early on. I know it's hard to sweep a 4-game series, but at the very least, you should have taken 3 out of 4. The pitching is bad. Some of the pitching is bad. The bullpen has its moments. So does the rotation. The lineup, yeah, could use some work. It's been injured, but man, oh man, I just can't believe we're in the spot saying, oh, after all this offseason talk, we're in the same exact situation that we were a year ago. And my God, I am like, whenever I think about it, I just want to explode. I don't know how it is for y'all.
I'll just kind of add to as well. Like we are definitely past the point of this team, like projecting the roster and saying this team should be good or is like you said, Jason. They are at this point, and it is definitely something that yeah, you only have what you go after. You only have what you can go off of. It doesn't mean they can't turn things around. I mean, the 2019 Nationals are the poster child for that, right? But as of right now, it doesn't look good, especially when we also because I'm also bring up the fact that Alex Bregman's on the injured list now, and that he has been a key contributor for the team, one of their best players all season. Jack, what are your thoughts on the first two kind of months of the season? How are you feeling? I'm assuming it's somewhat similar to Jason.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I don't want to get redundant here, but yeah, I mean, Jason hit the nail on the head. And Derek, like you said, the Nationals are a good example of how this thing can get turned around, and the Braves as well a couple of years ago. The question is, though, do the Red Sox have the makeup of a team capable of making that kind of turnaround? Can they make this kind of run, especially with Bregman going down? That's the question that's to be answered now. I mean, Cora keeps saying, right, we want to get that 8 or 10 game win streak, and obviously, who doesn't want that? But in order for that to happen, you need to win in multiple phases. Your bullpen needs to be solid, and that's after your starter gives you 6 good innings, and that's assuming you can score runs. Yesterday was a perfect example. Lucas Giolito gave them one of the best non-crochet starts of the season, if not the best, and they lost the game. And if you look at their offense, ever since they scored 19 runs, they've scored what, 7 or 8? So it's just everything is so volatile because they look good and then they look awful. They look good and then they break our hearts again. And it's, I don't know about you guys, but it's obviously it's frustrating. But for me, like, I'm not having as much fun watching them because it's more of the same. Carabas called it purgatory for the fourth straight year. You know, ever since they won in 2018, they're 463 and 460. They are perpetually mid. And Jason, you mentioned it, right? Like, we had all the talk in the offseason. They finally got the ace in Crochet. They got Bregman. Meyer and Campbell have arrived. What has to change for them to finally get over the hump? I don't know. Obviously, I'm hoping, so hoping, that they can be like the Nationals or the Braves, like we just described. I just don't know if this team has it in them at this point because, sure, the talent's there, but it just feels like something is profoundly missing. And at this point, it could be a setup man. It could be a legit starter behind Crochet. I don't know. But whatever it is, they need to figure it out now because you're at a third of the season done and you cannot be perpetually mid for the next third of the season.
Hold on, real quick. I mean, if you compare this season to last season, right? Duran was much better last season. I know it's early too, but right now he's sitting at about a 1B and F WAR. And last year he was around 8B WAR, I think 5 to 6 F WAR, which is not that good. They don't have a Chris Martin this year. They had Tanner Houck last year. I know they have Crochet this year. They had Tanner Houck and Cutter Crawford who emerged last year. They don't have it now, right? Yoshida was even on the team last year. O'Neill, right? These small things that they had last year. You look at this year and you're like, what more did you want them to do this year and this offseason? And everybody pointed to the bullpen. It's like, let's get David Robertson. Let's get one more bullpen arm. And they didn't do that. But is that really the difference between being mid and being like this contender? I don't think so. I think you're still in a better spot. I think maybe I know they're 27, 28 right in 28 right now. Maybe you're looking instead of that 27, maybe you're looking at that 30. But the fact that you can say, oh, adding one more high leverage relief pitcher would have been the difference between them right now being a contender or a pretender right now is simply false.
And I'll also just add too on that as well. I think it makes it so like bad this or makes it so hard this year is like, yeah, the Yankees are 12 games over 500, but they're not like at a ridiculous pace. Fangraphs actually already has the Yankees at an 87.5% chance to win the division, and we're at Memorial Day. The division has been bad, and that I think that was coming into. I'm not sure. I think that was coming into today, or that might be. Not, I'm not sure, but the Rays are 26 and 26 in second place. The Red Sox are 27 and 28. The Blue Jays are 25 and 27. The Orioles are 18 and 34. And even if you look into like the wild card, like, yeah, you have Cleveland who's 29 and 23, and then Minnesota who's 29 and 23. Then you just kind of get that mix of teams where it's like Cincinnati's 29 and 25, Houston's 28 and 25. Then it's the Rays and Red Sox, right? If the Red Sox, win 3 or 4 of those games they lose, they're in a wild card spot, and they're only a couple games behind the Yankees, and the outlook would be, yes, they've had their rough moments, but the outlook would be a lot different, right? And Jason, I think we talked about it at the start of the season, Jason. If they win 4 games every week, they're a playoff team. If they go 4-3 every week, they end up a playoff team, right?
I
Or
mean,
at least
yeah.
something like that. Plus, maybe you have to add a couple more wins, right? But like overall, if you go 4-3, you're most likely going to be a playoff team, or you're going to be very close to being a playoff team. Maybe you need to get that fifth game every other week, right?
Well, that was in
Or we,
comparison to all these other teams too, right?
yeah,
But here's the other issue. Did you expect 4 teams in the AL Central to be this good? No. Did you expect any competitor in the AL East other than the Yankees? No. Or actually, yes, you did.
yes, Baltimore,
Baltimore. The AL West isn't terrible either,
not
right? It's not
terrible, but
it's
it's
not
kind of like
terrible, but
a
it's also not good. Like the
yeah.
29 like
You have the
it,
Mariners, the Astros, and then it's just bleh.
I hate doing this comparison, but if the Red Sox were in the AL Central right now, they'd be in fourth place. Or they'd be in last place,
No, they'd be in
actually.
fifth. They're the only
They'd
team
be
they're
in
ahead of
fifth
in the
place.
AL
If
Central is the
if you
White Sox.
swept the Soxes, the Red Sox would be in last place in the AL Central.
That
Yep.
is true, but at the same
But
time,
like I
like
said, I
yeah,
hate doing that. I
yeah,
hate doing that. And somehow the Red Sox have a plus
because
run
you can do that with any division though, because you could say, oh well, if they were in the AL West, but then it's like, okay, so they'd be what 3.5 games back in the AL West instead of 6.5 in the AL East, right? See, but I think though more so the point, like I do wonder too, like, is this the team like we saw it last year, we saw it the year before, where the team's very whether you want to call it inconsistent, streaky, whatever, it is what they are. And I feel like we had a big talk last week, Jason, about how this team doesn't really have an identity, but maybe the identity is that they are as inconsistent. There's inconsistent and streaky, and you know, maybe that's their identity.
But
That,
that's the issue.
but
That's
and
the
Yeah.
no,
issue. Even
and
when
that's
you
what I'm
turned
saying.
around this roster and got new players, it's the same exact thing that
It's
we've
the
seen
same
in years
core of
past.
player. It's the same core of players for the most part, right? Like you look at the bullpen last year, from last year to this year. There's not a ton else there. I feel like I like yeah, Chapman's new obviously, and Chapman, but like the majority of the bullpen is the same from last year that had all those struggles, especially when they were overworked. What's the bullpen been right now? Overworked as can be, right? The only like differences between the bullpen last year and this year, instead of having Jansen and Martin, you have Chapman and Hendricks, and then you have Wilson as well. Um, like there's not that many differences. Yeah, the rotation's somewhat different, but if everyone was healthy, your only real addition was going to be Crochet, and then yeah, you add Giolito and Bueller to the mix, but like they were banking on having Giolito last year as well, right? So you really only add Crochet and Bueller to, and then Houck obviously struggling doesn't help, but like the majority of the team is the same people, and maybe it's something where you can add the talent on the top, like a Crochet, like Bregman, but outside of Bregman, it was mostly the same lineup. Obviously, you add Campbell. Yes, Yoshida hasn't been healthy, but Duran, Devers, Abreu, Story, Rafaela, run down Casas. The majority of the players on the team were still on that team last year, and have been on. Most of them have been on the team for a couple of years at least, right? So maybe it's just a thing where that's what this group of players is. This group of players is inconsistent, right? Maybe that's it. I don't know, because this isn't like a 2016, 2017 Red Sox where they were good but they couldn't get over the hump, right? And heading into 2018, you add the missing piece in JD Martinez. They still need to get like this is like the Red Sox where it's like they're not even at that 2016 team where it's like they have a really good year and you can tell the team's going to be good. You're banking on the Red Sox being good in the future because of the prospects they have and the guys like Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, Christian Campbell. But they haven't done it in the big league level yet. It's not those guys' fault, but the big league team that you're supposed to have support those guys also hasn't. You know, it's they're they're like I said, they're being streaky, they're being inconsistent. However you want to put it. Maybe it is they need to shake something up, right? Maybe they need to make some moves. I mean, Jason, we
Counterpoint.
went
Hold
we
on.
went
Hold on. Counterpoint, real quick. I mean, I don't disagree with what you're saying, but I mean, you just look at 2022. Like you mentioned it, it's been the same identity throughout, right? The team was very different from 2022 to 2025. 3 years.
Yeah.
Vasquez. I'm looking at the roster. Vasquez, Dahlbeck, Story at second base, Bogarts, Devers, Verdugo, Kike Hernandez, JBJ, JD Martinez, DH, pitching rotation, Pivetta, Evaldi, Waka, Hill, whatever. And then the bullpen, Schreiber, Brazier, Sauramora, Matt Strom, Whitlock at times, right?
No,
Different.
definitely,
It's
definitely. But
different.
I
But
think if
hold
you
on.
more look from like 2023 onwards, it's kind of
But
somewhat.
even that, even in 2023, it's still, you go, it's still different guys too, right? I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
Kike's
yeah.
still on that team.
Well,
Verdugo, Turner, Duvall, right?
No, but in
But what's the
terms of
common
like,
denominator?
no,
What's the
but in
common
terms,
denominator from all this? Alex Cora. And I'm not saying I hate him,
no,
but that's the common denominator.
yes and no, but at the same time too, like you look at I think though, like you look at the pitching rotation in 2023. Yes, they had Sale. He only made 20 starts, but you could like, okay, you don't have Sale anymore, but you have Crochet, right? But Bayo, Crawford, Hauk. I know they had Paxton. That's different, right? But like those three guys in terms of Hauk, Crawford, and Bayo, they outside of Hauk breaking out last year, and even Crawford in some extent last year, but Crawford's still very much probably seen as the fourth or fifth starter in this rotation at best. Like there hasn't been a ton of improvement. You would expect with a younger team that guys are going to take jumps, and those jumps haven't necessarily happened, right? Um, you see someone like, and maybe does get to the coaching staff because Nick Pivetta this year has a 2.72 ERA with the Padres, albeit San Diego is a pitcher friendly park, right? And he's only made 10 starts. But at the same time, like we saw the glimpses of how good Nick Pivetta could be with the Red Sox, but he was never
yep,
able to hit that potential.
yeah,
Now, sometimes a change of scenery does help things as well. And Pavetta has this year been elite at home, and he's got a 4.32 ERA on the road this year. So it very well could be San Diego's helping him because that is a very pitcher friendly park. But I do wonder what does fall on the coaching staff because Connor Wong has not been the same Connor Wong that you had when he came up when he was seen as a defensively solid catcher. Now it's the defense is a negative and he's going to need the bat, but the bat still isn't that great, right? Casas, I know the injuries have plagued him. You can't really do much about that, unfortunately. But like, yes, Duran had the big breakout last year. That's amazing, right? But only one guy breaking out isn't gonna change a ton, right?
yeah.
Like yeah, Willier's obviously been a really nice piece, I'm hoping he truly breaks out this year, because I do think he can. I mean, so far this year he has a 134 weighted runs created plus. It feels like he is, but I feel like there's still something. I feel like there's something missing right with this team. Maybe maybe it is the young guys coming up and becoming everyday big leaguers, right? Because then your team feels a whole lot more solid. When if you throw Meyer in there for someone like a Story, you throw in Roman Anthony, and I don't know, right? But I don't know. It's just it's a mess. I don't know how you solve it. I know we've in our group chat I've thrown out the idea of maybe it's someone like a Duran who's 28 years old. He's a speed first player. How long is that going to last? But interesting thing on Duran, he's out of all the outfielders, like the starting outfielders, he's got the lowest. I know he's got the lowest B WAR, right? So this is a guy who was supposed to be kind of your go-to guy, your spark plug, your leadoff hitter, the guy who sets the table for everyone. And the bat's been league average so far this year, right? Like it's not like that's not good enough, right? It's just not. So and defensively this year, defensive metrics, he hasn't been great. He's only got one defensive run saved in left field, and he's got -2 outs above average. And there have been plays that have looked rough this year with Duran. Like I love Duran, right? I think he's a great player, but like it has been kind of rough this year at times
Hey,
with him.
Derek, can I ask? I wanted to just chime in for 1 second because you guys were both alluding to, and I know, Jason, you've talked about Cora quite a bit at this point. You're both alluding to the coaching staff a little bit, and I feel like a guy who never gets talked about. Red Sox Nation loves to blame Peter Fatsey when things go wrong, but not a lot of people have talked about Andrew Bailey. And look, he was a highly coveted coach when we got him, right? He almost got the Yankees job, and he seems to be a guy that's very respected in the industry. But under him, how you can give credit to Andrew Bailey for getting Houck to what he was last year, but now we've seen him. He obviously Phantom IL, 8 ERA. Bayo lost his changeup and now can't go beyond 5 innings. A few of the other pitchers too. I mean, Giolito at some point looked totally lost. Like, at what point do you guys question the pitching program of going to a ton of spin, kind of moving away from the fastball? Do you guys question that at all? Have you lost any faith in Bailey this year? Because to be honest with you, with how our young pitchers have looked, I have a little bit.
It's an interesting conversation, right? And like, I'm not one to say, oh, the Red Sox offense got shut down today against a guy with an ERA over 5. Fire Pete Fatsey. I'm like, no, that's just not how shit works, right? There goes the clean episode. Sorry about that. But
oh well, who cares?
Oh well, we have to put an explicit sign. Whatever. But point being, I think you do have to question like the approach sometimes, right? You didn't mention Andrew Bailey, right? Other than Garrett Crochet, which we knew would be an ace. Houck has an ERA over 8. Bueller has an ERA. He's looked better, but it's still hovering at, I think it's 4 exactly. Bayo, ERA over 4. Dobbins has looked pretty good. And we know like when Breslow came in, he changed the philosophy, down in the minor leagues, with Justin Willard, right? And a lot of his other guys he brought in, they work with pitchers. We had Hunter Dobbins on the show, right? Friend of the program, Derek.
Yes.
I know we talked about him. They changed a lot of his grips, right? Now he's throwing. They taught him like a bullet slider.
Yep.
They
pitch usage.
taught him, I think. Yeah, pitch usage too.
That's the big
one. They changed a lot of that,
right?
And he's in the majors, and albeit he's solid. In his 6 games, he started 3.62 ERA. FIP pretty solid. FIP is 3.39. He's not getting.
That's solid. That's very solid.
That is very solid.
He's been good.
No,
he's been good.
I'll put it like I do want to kind of add though to the point though too of like the pitches that like because I'll play the pitching development plan. Like if you look throughout the entire organization, it's working, right? It's very, very, very clearly working. I think there's one issue with it though. It's very reliant on guys having good stuff. And good stuff across the board, not just 1 or 2 pitches that are good, right? The Red Sox pitching philosophy at the end of the day comes down to throwing your best stuff over the plate, right? But the issue with that is if you don't have good stuff, you're kind of up shit's creek.
Now, Derek, let me ask you, because I think we can all agree Houck has great stuff, Bayo has great stuff, Whitlock has great stuff. These are guys who have looked, they haven't taken the leap forward, they've regressed. So do you think it's working? I understand how you can say it's working in the pipeline, no doubt. The pitching prospects have looked a million times better today than they did 2 years ago. But do you think it's working for the Red Sox?
I don't know. The good stuff thing though is like Bayo's stuff looks good in terms of like movement or whatever, but sometimes it tends to typically like you would look at it and when you see him pitch it like the changeup looks nice or this thing or whatever it is, but like you look at the numbers against him and like it's not that good. I mean, you look at his heat maps, his sinker is pretty much right over the middle of the plate for the most part.
Right.
Sometimes
his changeups in a very vulnerable spot. And
if
you can't locate a pitch like that, you're not going to be good.
And I think that's somewhat of the issue. Like that could be part of the issue. I think part of the issue is just executing, right? I feel like there's a lot of like they're throwing their like for example like with Bayo, right? That sinker, especially when it gets out over the plate, it's like you're in trouble with that, right? And I mean, it was somewhat of an issue last year. I mean, Bayo's sinker has never been great in his entire big league career. His sinker has never been great. but his changeup has gone from an elite pitch to this year has not been that good,
Yeah.
and you do have to question, how much of that is the location. His changeup back in 2022, he threw it more kind of down out of the zone, and then in 2023 it was kind of down and in mostly, but around that kind of corner, down and into righties, down away to lefties. 2024 it was kind of like that, although it leaked a little bit more central, but it was still down in the zone. And then this year, it's back to kind of being down and in, but it's not down and below the zone. It's bottom of the strike zone to about middle of the strike zone, or a little bit less lower than the middle of the strike zone, right?
And Derek, I think what were we gonna say?
I'm
Sorry.
saying it's just catching too much of the plate, and so I think
It
that
is.
comes down to execution as well,
It is,
pitcher's
but if you
execution.
notice, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but Bayo's changeup used to be like 86, 87 miles an hour. He's throwing at 90, 91 now.
Yeah,
It's
it's averaging
almost like,
89.4. It's averaging
yeah, so
89.4.
there you go. He's throwing his changeup 90 miles an hour. That's what, 2 to 3 miles an hour faster than what it was when it was his best pitch, his put away pitch. And he's not getting the swing and miss rate or the chase rate on it. So I wonder, like, I don't know if that's something that he's been mindful of. I want to throw my changeup harder. And I don't know how he's working with Bailey on that. But like Lou Merloni was pointing this out, his changeup, like that's the glaring obvious change since it's been a worse pitch for him. Why aren't they adjusting that? Because without his changeup, he's not a good pitcher.
No, and there has been. I wonder like what the difference in movement has been. For Bayo, I think that's kind of the biggest. That's like the biggest concern as of right now. His changeup movement profile to his sinker, they're very similar. Like it's very very similar, right? I think the difference is the changeup is slower, but when you start losing that speed difference and the movement is very similar, you're going to start running into issues. I mean, Bayo's throwing a sinker 36% of the time, and it's pretty much right over the middle of the plate, right? The changeup is a little bit less over the middle of the plate, but I'll also add this, right? If someone's a little bit behind your sinker, and then you throw them the changeup, the speed difference isn't enough, or maybe they're a little bit out in front of the sinker, so you throw them the changeup, but they slow down a little bit because they were in front of it. The changeup isn't slow enough to keep them out in front, I guess would kind of
Right.
be the way of like putting it maybe. Like I think that's kind of what it is, because go back to 2022, his sinker was averaging 96 and his changeup was averaging 88. Then in 2023, which was probably his best year, at least in terms of his run value for his sinker and his changeup, that was by far his best year. His sinker was averaging 95, his changeup was at 86. Last year, his sinker was 96, and his changeup was about 87 and a half, 88. And now this year, his sinker's 95 and his changeup's 89.4 is what the average
Yeah.
is.
Well,
And
the other interesting thing is too. You mentioned he's been throwing it hard. Well, last year he was averaging. It's not that much of a difference. Last year he was averaging 1810 RPM. Right now
Yeah.
it's about 100 points lower.
Yeah, that's not that.
It's not that
That's
big
not.
of a
I think
difference.
the main.
But
I
in
mean,
a but no 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 no. But in something like a changeup, isn't that a little bit weird? If you, even when you're throwing it harder.
yeah. I mean, no. I think the movement has been like the up and down movement has been less. I think
Right.
so.
yeah, and I mean,
I think the main issue with this changeup is he's not getting swing and miss. His whiff rate last year on his changeup was 39%. This year it's only 22%. Like I think at the end of the day that like does that have to do with somewhat execution? Yes, because it's not just a changeup that's getting hit. Stopley like needs to generate more chase, right? But I don't think it's like let's not like stick too much on just Bayo, because there are other guys for the Red Sox that have been bad. Like it's not just Bayo. Like Tanner Houck has been
no,
really bad
yes.
this year, and
And Derek, that wasn't my point. My point,
yeah,
yeah, you're right. And like Bayo, honestly, when you look at it, like he's been serviceable. He just hasn't gone deep into games. My real point was like, okay, this is a guy. This is his fourth season now, and still we haven't seen that step forward. It looks like he's going more sinker slider than before it was sinker change. Like, is any of this on the pitching coach? And are you losing any trust in the pitching coach? As in Bayo's an example, the regression of Bayo is an example as to why you could maybe say you're losing trust in Bailey.
yeah, in some ways maybe. I don't know though, because like the thing is the pitching, like in terms of pitching coaching, it's like yes, Bailey's the pitching coach, but like there's a lot else that goes into the pitching than just Bailey as the only, like Bailey's the only staff member focused on that. I like you look at Hauk for example this year. His Hauk this year, his sinker actually in terms of batting average against has been better than the expected batting average, but and it's actually better than last year, but his sinker's getting slugged. It's getting hit harder this year. You look at his sweeper's just been hit harder and hit more often as well, right? Uh, so like that's an issue. I think that's very much an issue. Uh, I feel like I don't know like my issue is I don't know what the difference would be in that sense. I feel like the sweeper for like Hauk, for example, like I don't know if it doesn't look like it's really moving less. Um, the sinker, I don't know, looks like it's it's moving about the same. So I don't know. I don't know what it is with like the pitch because it feels like a lot of the Red Sox pitchers right now. It feels like the stuff isn't like in terms of like just looking at it in general. Like it doesn't look as bad as it is. But like obviously it's getting hit. I wonder, like I said, I wonder how much of it is location related because that very much could be an issue. Um, I know last year how it worked on that kind of the splitter kind of really got incorporated, especially against lefties. And then this year the splitter was just getting absolutely killed.
Yeah.
So he was back to being a 2-pitch pitcher, which isn't going to work as a starter. So
Yeah, it
I don't
only
know.
works for you guys.
So I don't know. It's just one of those things where I don't think you can put the blame on Bailey. I think it's I'll put it like I'll use this example right with Garrett Crochet. Garrett Crochet is realistic. Like he's been better this year than he was last year. And but why do I think that is in some sense? Because Garrett Crochet has elite stuff. Elite, elite stuff. Now, not all the metrics are exactly the same. Yeah, his strikeout rate's lower, his whip rate is lower, his chase rate is lower. But at the same time, too, I feel like he's being more aggressive in the zone at times.
And he's
Yeah,
throwing that sinker a lot more.
yes, he's throwing the sinker a lot more. He's less reliant on the fastball. His fastball last year he threw it 53% of the time.
Yeah, this year it's like
This year
42.
it's only 42, right?
Yeah.
He's throwing the So I think the sinker was the big addition, but like even like his sweeper has been better this year. I feel like his sweeper was probably been better this year. His changeup, when he does throw, he's only thrown it 66 times this year. But I feel like it's been better. I feel like someone like that with Crochet, I feel like when you have someone with elite stuff like that, and you kind of pair them with the pitching philosophy, it feels like the Red Sox have of the pitching philosophy isn't to not throw fastballs. I think that's what gets lost in translation sometimes. The pitching philosophy is very much throw your best stuff. And if your best stuff is a fastball, you throw that fastball. But in the case of someone like Abayo, for example, or even Hauk, the fastball is not going to be their best pitch. It's just not. They don't have elite fastballs. That's why they went away from it. But it's almost like the other pitchers haven't been good enough at the same time, and I think that's the real issue, right? I feel like that's the issue. Like you have to. It's one of those things where like use the Yankees for example. Look at all like the relievers the Yankees have, taken from nothing and made something, and then even take it to the further point of in a Clay Holmes or Michael King perspective. As soon as they leave the Yankees, they become starters elsewhere, and they're good starters,
Yep.
right? Like how much of that has to do with finding a guy who has good stuff and maybe tweaking it a little bit, but then like getting to them to follow your philosophy. I feel like sometimes with the Red Sox, in some ways too, maybe it's I feel like too also the Yankees just take flyers on guys sometimes. Like not that the Red Sox don't do it, but like I don't know, like it feels like a lot of the bullpen is just samey in some ways. Like oh
Luke
like
Weaver was like a nobody before
it,
last year.
exactly, right? And that's kind of the point I'm making too, in some sense, where it's like, okay, it's like, so the Red Sox aren't going after these guys, who are, if someone gets DFA'd, you identify them, and then it's just, it's very much, oh, someone goes down with an injury, instead of maybe taking a risk on this guy from who knows what. They're going and they're calling someone up from AAA who's probably going to get DFA'd, add to the 40 man, and then wait for them to get DFA'd. Right, like Nick Birdie, for example, has been amazing in AAA. I would have liked to maybe seen him get a more extended run in the big leagues, especially with how overused the bullpen has been. But Luis
Yep.
Guerrero can't even stay in the big leagues, for Christ's sake. Like, I don't know. There's something. I don't know if that's a more manager thing or front office, or I don't know. Maybe there needs to be a change in the like. And this isn't even like Cora being a bad manager. Maybe they just need like a change, right? Something new. Maybe that's what it is. But at the same time, too, your two best position players, and Rafael Devers and Alex Bregman. I'm not saying obviously I'm not saying it's the reason Bregman's there is because of Cora. He's getting paid $40 million a year, but your two best position players are very much like your manager, and you don't want to lose the clubhouse. And I think that's I don't think you could get rid of Cora mid-season. I don't think they can.
I totally agree.
No,
I totally
yeah,
agree.
yeah.
It's like
I'm with
and
you.
it's a non-starter. And I feel like I've brought this up before, but like, who's gonna be the manager? We thought we talked about this last week, Jay. Oh, who's gonna be
Yeah,
the manager?
It,
Who
I
would
don't
I
be
know.
the
mean,
manager?
it would be Vasquez probably.
Yeah, but then what's the
But
point?
then
Because
why
he's
would you get rid of Cora? It's a
exactly, and
Cora guy. You just
exactly
might as
that's
well
the
just
point.
keep Cora.
Your only change is gonna be bringing up Chad Tracy, and
But hold on. I mean, you make a good point. It's like it would be Ramon Vasquez. People would be like, "Oh, then the 2 games he managed the bullpen perfectly." Like, one, you're
also,
wrong.
managing the
Two,
bullpen perfectly
small
is kind of a
sample size.
bullshit kind of thing, because you can press every button correctly, but if the player doesn't execute, you look like an
Correct.
idiot,
Yep. Yep.
right? Like, I'll do it like this. I'll use this example because this is a very egregious example. The Rays pulled Blake Snell out of a World Series game when he was pitching amazing, because third time through the order, et cetera, right? What happens if the Rays shut down the Dodgers the rest of that game and don't give up and win that game? There's no backlash. It's like, it would have been nice to
Yep.
see Snell maybe go out and get more, be able to pitch more. But look, made the right move, took him out. The relievers go in, execute, whatever. But because the relievers end up, the Rays end up losing the game, and the relievers kind of blow it, like, it now looks like a terrible managerial move. I think that somewhat too. Like, the managing of the bullpen. Do I think the managing of the bullpen has been great necessarily? No, but like, you also too, like, you can't blame a manager for bringing in a guy and then the guy just straight up shitting the bed.
Right, and I mean,
Especially when it's
Counterpoint,
like,
devil's advocate. But that devil's advocate, it's the same problems with bullpen management that's been costing the Red Sox games. You
well,
know?
I think too. I think, well, it doesn't help when your bullpen's absolutely worn out. But I
and it
think
doesn't help when you're a high leverage arm short.
that too. But then also, you also add in the fact that your starters aren't going deep enough, right? And I think it kind of
Yeah,
goes back to the starting pitching more than anything, because you're
correct.
getting, if you get 6, 7 innings from Crochet, but then Bayo's only going 4, Dobbins going 5. Like, even 5 is okay, right? Giolito going 5 or 6. Bueller's back, but like, I don't know. I feel like, especially with you're getting limited off days, and I mean, the Red Sox played, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They had scheduled for 10 games in 10 days. They still played those 10 games in 10 days, although with rainouts and whatever, things got
Right.
moved around. But here's the thing: the Red Sox don't have an off day tomorrow on Monday. They still play 3 straight against the Brewers in Milwaukee. That's 13 games in 13 days. Yeah, they have an off day on Thursday, but then you get the Braves in Atlanta, and then you gotta get the Angels. Yeah, and then they have off days on every Thursday of June. But like, just wait till we get into like August, right? And that stretch at the end of August 21st, they play 4 against the Yankees in New York, and then 4 against Baltimore in Baltimore. Then they have 3 at home against Pittsburgh and 3 at home against Cleveland until their next off day. That's 2 back-to-back 4-game road series against
That's
teams in
not
your
even.
division. And
That's
then
not even accounting for the incredible schedule after that. You're gonna get into it.
no, exactly. And like that's the thing. Like what happens when you have that, that's what that's 14 games in a row, right? What happens in those 14 games in a row and your starter like heck, what your starter has to come out due to an injury precaution, right? Like Lord knows what's going to happen, or the guy gets a blister or something, and now your bullpen's thrown 7 innings in the game, but you've used 6 of your 8 relievers, but your other 2 relievers just pitched the day before, and
Yeah.
one of them maybe threw 40 pitches. Like, there's just not enough guys, and then it comes to the rough decision of, like someone like a Sean Newcomb's going to get DFA'd because they need fresh arms in the bullpen. Guerrero gets called up, pitches 1 game, and immediately gets sent back down for Zach Kelly, right?
Shit.
All that I feel like all that revolves around the rotation in some ways, right? Because
They're running
Yeah.
out of spots too.
yes,
They gotta make some tough decisions, right? Like, I'm sorry, like I know. I mean, there's a couple non-option guys like Vaughn Grissom. He's a non-option right now. And then what's his name? Winkowski. I know Winkowski's hurt,
he's
but
hurt.
he's also a non-option.
Yeah, although the injury looked bad. He could be someone who could like be added to the 60-day potentially.
And guys, I mean, we're talking about how obviously starters not going deep into the game is a huge problem. But I think going into the season, many of us had Houck penciled in as their number 2.
Yes,
And this is a guy who has single-handedly lost you multiple games, who's on the Phantom IL with an ERA over 8. Even if Houck is not known for going 7-8 innings, sure. But the fact that this guy is out of the rotation, you have to have a rookie in there. Dobbins is doing fine. He's not going deep into games. He's been fine. But the fact that you lost somebody who you thought could be your second best pitcher on a good team,
and give you 5 to 6 innings every start too.
exactly. I think they're just directly, but it's not as obvious that this is what, like, how going down, it's absolutely killed them. It's absolutely killed them.
Mm-hmm. It has. I agree with that. I think
He's a negative 1.2. Sorry,
yeah,
1.6 B WAR.
yeah,
Yeah, just crazy.
it's been bad. I do though. I do also want to like add in the point too here with like their AAA pitching depth starting to get thin as well.
Yeah.
Like just because the amount of injury. So right now, I'll just kind of I'll go through it right now. The big league team, we have Crochet, Bayo, Dobbins, Giolito, Buehler is kind of the order of the rotation right now. Then you have Newcomb got DFA'd, so he's inactive right now. Then you have Fitz and Houck on the injured list. Then in AAA, you have Winkowski on the injured list, Drohan on the injured list. Priester is gone, right? Because they
Yep.
traded him. Which
Cutter's also on the injured list, by the way. You forgot him.
Who?
Cutter.
Well, yeah, but he hasn't pitched at all this season. But yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, same thing with like Patrick Sandoval, right? But we knew they weren't pitching.
They don't.
Chris
count.
Murphy's also injured.
That does not count.
Zach Penrod's also injured, right? But those guys haven't pitched.
What's the issue with him?
With Penrod, I think it was a shoulder injury.
Guys, I didn't think Cutter would miss the first 2 months, though. 2.5 months, whatever it's going to be.
I don't know. Yeah, it is interesting.
I've heard in the grapevine that he needs surgery, and they're just.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I'm counting on Cutter to come back and
Yeah.
shove, but he can eat innings at a solid level.
At the very least.
Christ,
Yeah, but like
they're starting Wyatt Mills.
Yeah, no, the AAA rotation right now is they have Criswell, Robert Stock, Tyler Uberstein, Wyatt Mills, and Brian Van Bell.
Oh, jeez.
And the bullpen is Nick Birdie has been awesome, right? He's been amazing. But that's like Jose De Leon, Isaiah Campbell, Brian Mata, Brendan Salucci, friend of the show, shout out.
Yeah.
Austin Adams, Alex Hoppy, Wyatt Olds, Jose Adames. Like it's none outside of Birdie, I don't see any of those guys being legitimate big league options. Obviously, Guerrero's going to be back there, right? Because he just got sent down. Newcomb, if nothing happens with him, he might go back to Worcester. Who knows? He might go to Worcester.
Hopefully he does.
Hopefully, because they may need him to go to Worcester and be in that rotation. Because right now, the only big league depth is Criswell. Because when they called up Stock, they stuck him in the bullpen, said go be an innings eater out of the bullpen, and they've even done that with Criswell too, right? Like next man up is like, next man up might be me, like at this point, like like if we get another
Guys,
if there's
Cooper
another 2
Criswell
injuries.
didn't pitch for like 24 days.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Like don't get me wrong, do I think like so now Fitz is on a rehab assignment, right, with the Sea Dogs, right? Fitz should be ready soon. There's gonna be a lot of question marks when Fitz is ready. What do you do with that rotation? What do you
Yeah.
do?
Send him to
Like,
AAA.
do you send Fitz? Do you send Dobbins to AAA?
Right. It's exactly.
Dobbins has been too good.
What about
but
Bale?
Fitz is pitching well too, and Fitz has
No.
more distance than Dobbins.
No,
Like-
you send a guy like even Fitz had his moments.
No, I'm not saying send Bale down, but like, what do you do with Bale? Or maybe do you say like, hey, we're gonna send you to Worcester to give you like 2 weeks to a week to work on some stuff behind the scenes, and then we're bringing you back, right? Is there
Yeah, who
something
knows
like
how he'll take that?
You know.
Hey,
I
guys,
still-
by the way, I just wanted to bring one thing up. Caleb Ort is in the Astros bullpen. He has a 2.08 ERA. But just saying.
I mean, but like at the same time too, like that's good and all, but at the same time, like I'm just waiting for Caleb Moore to have a blow up.
Oh, I know. I just find
No,
it
I know.
He's actually
Now,
he was good last year too.
No, he was. Yeah, he went there last year and started pitching well at the end of the year. I will say though, with someone like Caleb Moore, like he's only thrown like 12 innings though this year, so
yeah, not a lot.
It's not a lot, and also too like that's still very much a middle relief. Like that's more like a back end of your like not back end, but like what's the like kind of like a mop up / like you're down by 1 or 2, so you don't want to bring in your good relievers. That's the type of reliever. You still need those guys.
Crazy.
You still need those guys, right? But it doesn't. That wouldn't help the Red Sox problem that much. But like I do like also too is Masataka Yoshida like alive apparently.
No.
You know he's seemingly going to start throwing up to 60 feet. I guess
it seems like they really just
throwing
don't
up to
want him
60
to play,
feet. He couldn't even throw from 10 feet.
Exactly. It's not like the thing is Yoshida very well could hit, but he can't throw and he can't DH because you have Raffy DHing and like Raffy has been since the turn of that slump, Raffy has arguably been one of the best hitters in baseball, if not like I actually need.
It's not even an argument. Yeah.
Well, is it April 26th, like from April 26th onwards, or April 27th onwards, or whatever? Like,
yeah, whatever that day is. Yeah, exactly.
But Raffy, since then, he's got the same weighted runs created plus as Aaron Judge. Since from April 26th onward.
Yeah. Yay.
There has not been a hitter better than Rafael Devers since April 26th. I'm looking at it right now. 44 weighted runs created plus. He's put up 2.2 F WAR.
Yeah, he's been an absolute beast. He's been an absolute beast.
You could make the argument. He's got the same F WAR as Aaron Judge. You could legitimately make the argument that Devers has been the best player in baseball, and since then, he's only got a 16% strikeout rate since then, which might be the biggest thing. That might be the biggest thing.
And he's walking a ton, which is great. Which is what's kind of crazy, guys. I'm just kind of thinking about this. I think we can agree our 3 best players to date have been Devers, Bregman, and Crochet. 2 of those 3 weren't on the team last year, yet again, we're perpetually 500. It's almost kind of amazing.
Christ, if they didn't have any of their acquisitions,
yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, forget what the team would look like without Crochet, but if they didn't sign Bregman at the buzzer beater, what would their record be right now?
Worse.
I don't know.
Yeah.
We can only go by WAR, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah. And
if we could only go by WAR,
and WAR won't do Bregman.
They'd be 24 and 31.
And that's probably being generous, considering.
And that's being generous.
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah,
Imagine the conversation if that was the case. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Also,
no.
Trevor
Imagine
Story,
if they rolled back the same team as last year. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like
also,
minus
Trevor Story also has a 1 weighted runs created plus since April 26th.
Yeah, I mean he's the bottom 3 hitter in baseball of all qualified.
It's been miserable.
He's been the worst qualified hitter. He's the worst qualified hitter.
Yeah, he's been bad. Christian Campbell, I love him, but he has had a really, really rough month.
Okay,
right?
but the difference is we knew everybody in their right mind knew
Yeah.
he was gonna slump.
Yeah,
Everybody knew he was gonna be bad
Yes,
and he
exactly.
and
at one point.
Narvaez have honestly they've evened out. They've averaged each other out. You average the two of them, and you've had two very solid.
Where would the Red Sox be
Narvaez has a
without Carlos
182
Narvaez?
weighted runs created plus since April 26. Narvaez says is
Yeah.
hitting 362 with a 429 on base and a
He should
580
win Rookie
slug.
of the Month of May for sure.
He might. He actually like
He's in the
legitimately
Rookie of
could.
the Year conversation.
Jeff
Oh yeah,
Snyder, when
I
he's
mean,
played, has has been good, but he's only played
yep,
8
very good.
games.
Guys,
Williers
I'm
been
actually
good.
curious to know what
Abraham
your
Toro
answer to this.
actually has been good too.
Yeah, Toro's been hitting it. Guys, what do you think realistically? I mean, obviously Narvaez is going to cool down a little bit offensively. We know the defense is very good, but what do you think is a realistic stat slash line for him over 130 games?
Oh, is Narvaez going to play 130? I mean,
Whatever it is. Like, where do you think his OPS is? I think if he's mid 700s, that's incredible.
I wouldn't say mid 700s is incredible, but I feel like
Well, compared to expectations,
I
coming
think
in,
you
he
would
was a backup
absolutely
rookie
take it.
catcher.
You would absolutely take it. You take it.
Exactly. Yes.
I think right now his OPS is 335 on the season. That's on the season. That's
The hell,
not.
he has the fourth most B WAR on the Red Sox right now.
Yeah, I know he's been insane. He's got a 1008 OPS in the last month from April 26th to today. That's obscene.
Yeah, I mean, he's been crazy.
Duran has been better over the last month. He's got a 118 weighted runs created plus in the last month. Willier's just been solid. Obviously, Willier does get a little bit streaky. Willier's only striking out 16% of the time. I think that's a really big thing.
I don't know if you guys saw this either, by the way, but the prospect we traded for Narvaez, Omar Rodriguez Cruz, he's like top 5 or I can't remember what, but I was checking the other day. He's like in the Yankees' top 10 prospect.
That's not that big of a statement.
Because none of the Yankees don't
Fair
have
enough,
good
yes, but
prospects.
like the Yankees aren't looking. They're
Also,
like,
I love ERC. I love him, but he's also a guy who spent parts of 3 seasons in Salem. Got it like pitched like last year was not great in Greenville. He did have a
right,
stuff uptick, but
but it's been a good deal for both teams, I would say.
I guess. I do have worries about
For the Red
ERC once
Sox.
he gets to Double A. I have big concerns about him when he gets to Double A.
Is he still in High A?
Yes, he's still in High A.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be ready.
Talk to me when they get in Double A
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say that like Toro in his 11 games, he hasn't walked once, which is hilarious. But he's hit 3 homers.
Yeah, he's crushing it.
David Hamilton has played 16 games in the last month. He also hasn't walked, but he's got a 122 weighted runs created plus. So I mean, that's something, I guess.
That's actually quite surprising.
Connor Wong doesn't have an extra base hit this year.
Yeah, that's no surprise. Also, too, can I say I would like for the Red Sox? Can they be more aggressive on the bases?
Yeah, I agree. I feel
you
like
have Jaron Duran. You have Jaron Duran. You have Cedon Rafaela. You have
David Hamilton.
You have You have David Hamilton, which I would like to see Hamilton get some more.
And guys, it almost felt like they were being more aggressive on the bases in April than they have been in May.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much so.
Very much so. That falls under that. Okay, and that falls under coaching. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't help when Trevor Story doesn't get on base because he's one of your better base runners, but he also can't get on base.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah. That's
Imagine Story's numbers if you take out the White Sox games.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, not good.
You know what's funny? Okay. This is. I mean, I'm gonna ask this question, and this is kind of like a. What do we call it? I'll think of the word later. Guess who has a lower B WAR, Connor Wong or Blake Sable?
Probably Connor Wong.
It is Connor Wong.
Is it really?
It's because Sable hasn't played enough.
Yeah, but
what is Wong's? Minus what?
Minus 0.3.
Wow. Okay.
Sable's minus 0.2.
What was Wong's last year?
Last
year,
check his
I can't
imagine
it's over 2.
Yeah, it's probably
his F4 last
1.
year was 5. His F4 was 1 last year.
1.5
1 on the dot. Yeah, then the F4 was 1 on the dot.
He was getting very. he had a 348 BABIP. So go figure.
Yeah,
Last
he's
year,
got 212 BABIP this year. What's interesting is
and he's batting 156.
Wong is walking more this year. His walk rate is almost doubled. Maybe not almost doubled. 5.7% to 9.4%, but you get the point. Like he is walking. That's a significant amount more for someone whose big league career walk rate's at 9%. But
They have no choice. They can't do anything with him.
yeah,
God, where the hell would we be without Narvaez, dude?
Not good.
With Connor Wong and Blake Sable being no, at that point the Yasmani Grandal would probably be everyday catching in the big leagues.
Yeah, thank you to the Yankees catching lab for giving us a gem.
Well, also too, they start really. I mean, the Yankees didn't have to trade him to the Red Sox, but like, also too, like the Yankees definitely did not need Narvaez.
Yeah, I mean,
they didn't have to trade him to the Red Sox.
Yes, they did. They have no backup.
Ben Rice.
Ben Rice is their third catcher. Like he's, I don't know who their fucking backup.
You know what's interesting, guys, is
their backup is
so far.
JC Escara.
Who?
I don't know.
Who?
Who is got a .5 F-WAR and 50 plate appearances.
That's pretty good.
He's probably good, just good defensively. That's
guys. You know what's interesting is with the season, with how it's unfolded so far in terms of future roster reconstruction, we now know that we're thinner at pitching than we thought. But we used to think, I did at least, that after we traded Teal, we were screwed at catcher. So far, it looks like we're fine there long term. So that's
at least from the starting catcher spot, yeah. At the very
least. Yeah, exactly.
Or at the very least, like you have a very solid defensive catcher at the worst. I think
the conversation. I think the conversation is not like, oh, we're set long term. I think it's we're better than we thought we were.
Sure.
We're in a better position than we thought we were on open.
Or maybe not set long term, but at the very least, like for example, Christian Vasquez was the Red Sox starting catcher for what, like 4 years? For the kind of like 4 years, like
since like 2017, and then him. I mean, it was always him.
He did split time with Leon, but like but you know what I mean. Though, like a guy like Vasquez, who's a solid catcher for 5-6 years. I feel like Narvaez at the very least is going to be like around for 5-6 years. Be at worst a good backup, right? But like even if he's starting, he's going to be defensively capable. So I think that's kind of the big thing.
And a tough AB.
I don't know what they do, in all honesty, in some sense. In terms of like with Wong, that's not even. I will also add on the catcher situation, like in the organization, it's not like the bleakest thing in the world. And I know Johan Fran Garcia, they're still waiting for him to get back from injury. Like I hope he comes back soon and starts playing well. He's currently on a rehab assignment in the FCL, so hopefully he'll be healthy. But he was seen as a more highly thought of prospect than Yastinson Garcia, than his brother. And the torn ACL, that's a rough one. So that sucks in that sense. But I know Brooks Brandon hasn't had the greatest of years this year, but I think there's probably still some high hopes for him. But he hasn't had the greatest start to the year in Greenville. But but at the very least, I mean, you feel comfortable with Narvaez because he's defensively solid.
I mean, there are some guys who are good in the draft class.
Yeah, I wouldn't bank on them just drafting catchers.
We'll see who falls.
Well, that also depends on how the class, the draft, pans out. But we'll see. I think though the main thing for this team as of right now, they have Meyer now. Campbell, obviously, I know has been struggling, but I feel like he's maybe starting to slowly kind of come out of it a little bit.
I agree. He's hitting the ball harder.
And I'll also add too, if this team is meh this year and they end up selling at the deadline, and by sell I mean you could probably get a nice little return for Chapman, Walker Buehler, Lucas Giolito. I know some teams will probably be interested in
Jarren Duran.
If you really want to make a move, yeah, Duran. There's teams that could use an outfielder, right? And I know Duran's playing a lot of field this year. The Phillies would be a perfect fit because Well, actually, no. Phillies though is more of an off-season
He'd
move.
be electric in that lineup.
But he'd be more. I feel like he'd be more of an off-season move for them.
Well, and Durant, I mean, it makes more sense. I mean, we always say it all the time as a off-season move.
I
But
mean, the
still,
Durant for the Dodgers would make sense.
no, it wouldn't.
Yes, it
Yeah, it
would.
would.
It would.
Unfortunately, it would.
It absolutely would, which is what sucks about it.
We'll take Mookie back. Please and thank you.
I'll take Dalton Rushing and Die Your Hope and live with that.
Draft Ethan Holiday, and then we're set.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, man. I just don't like. What does it? I know we're going for an hour, but like, in your guys' humble opinions, I talk about this all the time, and our good friend Jake T. O'Donnell, he tweeted out a couple weeks ago. They need the Red Sox need a shake things up move. What does that even look like? Like, I can't come up with anything that looks like realistic that looks like that, right?
You know what your shake something up move might be?
And no, hold on, real quick, and now I'll ask you what it is. I don't think it's Christian Campbell going to first base is that move. Like, I don't think that's enough. Like, all right, what are you gonna say, Derek?
You might. I don't think they will do it, but like, I know everyone's been talking Story. I don't think it's Story for the fact that he's been bad. Like, yes, he's been bad, but they're not just DFAing. Like, that could be something where it very much like wakes people up and it's like, oh shit, we're not like secure here. Like, this is like, but at the same time too, it could ruffle feathers in a bad way. But at the very least, it's gonna cause a reaction from your team, right?
Yeah, I mean, Derek,
Because
that's a good
you
point.
can't
It
make
could ruffle feathers.
you can't make a trade now. It's too early to really
Yeah,
make
I
a
mean,
trade,
yeah.
especially to a big trade. When this is why I don't like the draft being in July. Every front office, their eyes right now are on getting to the draft, right? They're on getting to the draft right now, and I think that that's a that it would make it hard to, especially if you're going to move someone like a Duran, right? How are you going to make a move when I like how is it going to be good to really try and nail down, let's make a Duran move. How are we going to do this? Let's plan this out. But then like you still need those hours to put into the draft process, because that is a very lengthy process, and I think that most front offices are going to be focused on that right now. Even though, yeah,
Yeah.
we're almost into June. The draft's only a month and a half away. If the draft was still in June, the draft could be coming around the corner in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
No, I think the Story, that's not a bad answer at all, Derek. I think like you could light a fire under some people who maybe have gotten a little complacent and they're like, damn, okay, his job was in jeopardy. He was making all this money. He was a big shot around here. Like, okay, that could work. I also think the obvious answer as to your question, Jason, how to shake things up. Roman Anthony should be playing for the Boston Red Sox at this point because you just lost your. I would say obviously Devers has been their best hitter, but Bregman's been their most consistent hitter, and you just lost him, and you need somebody to supplement that loss of offense. And Meyer's great and all, but he's not going to do that to the caliber Bregman is. I'm not saying Roman Anthony will, but I think the two of them combined, I think Anthony would give your offense a tremendous boost right now, and that's what they're going to need. Because you can score 10 runs all you want, but if you score 1 run the next game, 4 the game after that, and 3 the game after that, it's not a sustainable way to win baseball games. So I think
that
Anthony,
really shaking things up, or are you just
I don't
doing
know if
that
it's
for a
shaking
boost?
things up, but I don't know if that's shaking things up, but that's at least doing what's best for the baseball team to win as many games as possible right now.
Like,
Also,
I
want to ask Jason, if you DFA Story and you get rid of Story, Meyer plays shortstop. Who's playing third base?
Meyer plays third, and you play Rafael at short. I know it's not ideal, but that's the only realistic option. And guys, here's the thing about Rafael. Like, we're talking about DFAing Story because his OPS is what, 600? Rafael is like 610. He's been disappointing behind the plate.
Yeah, but
I
think the difference is with Rafaela has been elite defensive this year. Trevor Story defensive metrics do not like him this year.
Yes, no doubt.
He's been awful.
He has not been that good defensively this year.
Yeah, and his arm is cooked, his range is down. But like at the same time, Rafaela, like a far below average league, a guy who's far below the league average should not be holding up the number one prospect in baseball. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time too, he's got a better. Like, I don't want to go based off one number, but like he also has a better FWAR than Jaren Duran, right, on the season. And like,
Yes, and it
I'm
like
not, and
it
I'm not
depends on
saying,
how much you
I'm
value
not,
defense.
but like at the same time too, Alex Cora very clearly does value defense, and I know it
Yes.
like, and like I know that like it's. I don't know. Saying Raphael is blocking Roman Anthony, I don't think is necessarily true because they've been playing Roman a lot in a lot of the corner outfield spots, and now that Yassin Garcia's in AAA, he's going to be getting a lot of the
Okay.
center field reps.
Yes,
Yeah,
but Derek, let me
counterpoint.
ask you a question.
Counterpoint. Wouldn't they just put Duran in center?
Yes,
No,
exactly.
yes, no, definitely,
I mean,
but
Derek,
at the
if
same
Sadon
time too,
if Sadon got hurt tomorrow, is Roman Anthony called up and playing left field and Durant's
the,
playing center? Obviously, right? So by like, I mean
unless
that.
it's a small injury, but yeah, if he were to get yes,
Now, I
No.
think ideally, guys, right
Yeah.
now, with Bregman going down, ideally, Devers would be the one to slide into third. Meyer plays short. You do whatever the hell you want with Story, maybe second,
I don't
and
think you can
Campbell's at
take
first.
Devers off
And then
DH.
Anthony's DHing, but obviously that's not happening.
Yeah, I don't think you can take Devers out of
You are
DH
not
now.
taking Devers off DH. Not
Also,
No,
after
I
he's
know
been
what
they're not
hitting.
he
going
did
to,
with
but in an
Boston.
ideal world,
Also
that
too,
would be
he's
the way.
been the best hitter in baseball, arguably, since April 26th. There's
Yes, yes.
even if Devers was willing to play third base, I don't think I would want to change anything right now with
Interesting,
him
interesting.
Yeah,
because he's
no.
hitting so good, and like the Red Sox, like it's hilarious because they haven't been shut out this year, which is
Somehow,
absolutely
in the last
Huh.
two games, they
is
weren't.
fucking
Really?
hilarious because they in the broadcast the last 2 days,
It's
oh, the Red Sox
unreal.
are the only team to not be shut out after they score their first run of the game. It's
Yeah,
like
they scored
okay,
their first in the ninth.
it's like dude, I don't care that they haven't been shut out. They only scored one run. What's the
Yeah, and
difference?
both their runs in those games have came in the ninth inning.
Here's the thing: if you only score one run, there's only one way to win the game. You have to shut out the other team.
And scoring more runs than the other.
Like that's the issue. I don't know. It's just I don't know. This team is weird. I don't know because like you would look at this team on paper, and that's the thing too. I wonder too if we are somewhat like overvaluing some people on the team in terms just because we're Red Sox fans. Like let's be honest. Like you look at someone like I don't know who I'm trying to think. Like obviously Devers has been amazing. Narvaez has been just really really good regardless. Um, but like maybe like too much banking on Christian Campbell being good right off the jump and sustaining that, right? Maybe there's a
Yeah.
little bit too much of like, especially when Campbell got off to a really hot start and people were like, oh, he's a lock to win Rookie of the Year, which is insane. To just say someone's a lock to win an award in April.
Yeah.
But like maybe there's too much faith. I don't. We know Trevor Story's streaky. Trevor Story very well, and I think that's part of the reason why pulling the trigger on Story is somewhat difficult because next week Story could get on a hot streak and he could go on a 2 to 3 week hot streak, right? A la Jackie Bradley Jr., right? We go
Yeah.
on you know what I mean? Like that's the issue with Story is like it's almost tough to get rid of him because you saw what he did at the start of the season and it's very much possible that he can just get on a run like that. And I
Okay, I
mean,
mean,
like I'm not saying they should like that's why they should keep Story, but like it makes that decision harder because at the snap of a finger he could, just get hot out of nowhere. And I like that makes it difficult. Obviously, Bregman was playing amazing. But like what maybe Jaren Duran, I feel like we were penciling in Jaren Duran to be this elite player, and I know he hasn't been that so far this year, and I did always think that he was gonna regress. But I don't know if I expected it to be this much.
but his numbers are identical for the first 50 games compared to his first 50 games last year. Like he gets hot in the summer, and I think today, 4 singles, right? He's gonna get hot.
He's been seeing the ball very well
He
since
has been seeing the
since
ball
the
better. No, he
Brave
definitely has.
series.
No, he definitely has. It's just very I don't want to say concerning. It's not concerning. It's just
Underwhelming.
yes, underwhelming. That's the way to put it. It's been somewhat underwhelming, and I
And
think
even then, his OPS is what 770, 780. Like he's still been far from the problem, you know?
Yeah, no, he's not.
He's
No,
not
he
the
definitely
problem.
hasn't.
No.
No, he's not. I'm not saying he is, but you start putting like everything together, like
Yes, maybe over expectations, yes.
yeah, because
But
like
hold on. Yeah, keep going.
because we had people, because there are people in national media saying, "Oh, the Red Sox are now going to be a legit contender," because they brought in the big pieces. But just having the big pieces doesn't like that's not the whole story. Like we've seen teams have the most star-studded rosters, and but they don't have the surrounding pieces. And like the Padres with Juan Soto, right? That team should like if you just look up the star power on paper, that team should have been really
Yes,
good.
yes.
But they
Even the
didn't have.
Mets a couple
Yes,
years ago.
yes, they should have been good, but they're not, right? Sometimes but then you look at the 2021 Red Sox and you go, that team really did not have that. That had no business being two
Yes.
wins away from the World Series,
Yep.
right?
Their bullpen was abysmal on paper.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yes. Yeah, no, exactly. That's what I'm saying, right? Baseball sometimes doesn't work out how you expect on paper, and I think part of it too is right
Didn't I
now is
text you too? I'm sorry to interrupt. Didn't I text you too? Like, how the fuck did the Red Sox make the World Series? Like, almost make the World Series with that bullpen?
I
Was
mean,
it you
yeah,
or
no,
somebody
totally.
else?
I mean,
It might have
guys,
been
that
someone else.
rotation, like Erod wasn't that good that year. Pavetta wasn't
Evaldi
that
was
good that
your
year.
ace.
yeah, that
No,
was
no,
the year
he was your number
Erod
one.
was coming.
He was your
Erod was
number
coming
one.
off the
And you had
myocarditis.
Perez and Richards.
Oh my god, that was the sticky stuff Garrett Richards year. But no, Erod was coming off myocarditis.
Oh, that's right.
And then
Chris
Evaldi was coming
Sale
off a
came
bad
later.
2020.
And
Yeah,
they
I mean,
almost
but
screwed it. And they almost screwed it up too.
their
Oh no,
rotation just
no,
wasn't
was
good.
Evaldi not bad? He was bad in 2019. Was he bad in 2020?
No, he
I
was
don't
bad
know.
in 22. He was like,
Oh my gosh,
really
guys,
bad.
remember Josh Taylor's Linsanity run that year?
Yes.
Yes.
And
I'm
then they traded
surprised
him for
also
Mondesi,
Hirokazu
and then
Sawamura.
neither.
I'm surprised Sawamura never got another chance in the MLB.
I think he wanted to go back to Japan. He's been pitching good, pretty solid in
Oh,
Japan.
fair enough, yeah. He was solid here, though. He really was.
Yeah, he just struggled. I feel like he just struggled whenever he inherited base runners.
Yes.
Like
And he also struggled at Fenway.
Yeah, he needed a clean inning though. And like I remember one time it was like he had a 250 ERA, but like out of like the 15 runners he inherited, like 13 of them had scored or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
It was like
if you want to know
obscene.
what Josh Taylor looked like, look at Brendan Bernardino this year.
Yeah.
Can't pitch with runners on to score his life or to save his life.
But I mean, that's
and he has a
not...
123 ERA.
I mean, but Bernardino's your classic, like, bring him in a low leverage situation with no runners on. He's the 7th or 8th guy in your pen, and unfortunately, we've elevated him to a key role.
They have no choice.
Yeah.
Whitlock's his command's not been there. Slayton he doesn't have swing and miss stuff.
I mean, guys, Slayton and Whitlock, if they had just held an inning or two, like in the two of them combined have blown multiple games. It might be like 4, where they gave up a 2-run or 3-run inning.
In early May, late April,
yes. Yes.
Like, I'm looking at the Red Sox bullpen numbers. They're not awful on paper, right? Chapman is your closer. 189 ERA. No, FIP's actually
They're in the top half of the league in terms of bullpen ERA.
Yeah, their bullpen.
No one gives a shit about bullpen. Sean Newcomb had a 3.83 ERA.
Their starters have been they're 22nd in starter ERA, 26th in WHIP, 19th in walks per 9, 15th in strikeouts per 9. They're 14th in homers per 9. The big thing, they're 28th in hits per 9 for their starting pitchers. Just too many base runners.
Guys, hypothetical, if the Red Sox miss the playoffs this year, is Alex Cora guaranteed to be fired?
No, the ownership loves him too much.
If the Red Sox miss the playoffs this year and you got to decide his fate, would you fire him?
Yeah. Like, if they miss the playoffs, I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't disagree with you, Jason. I think I might say yes too.
Here's what I'd say. I say, you're interested in being in the front office. You're interested in a higher role. Would you take it? Here.
See, but I don't think they would do that.
And if he says no, say, okay, sorry, you're gone.
Okay, yeah, I mean, Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because I think he should stick around with the team because a lot of people look up to him and a lot of people
Yes.
literally he's a
His
player's manager.
presence is
He
an
is
asset.
respected. Yes, he is respected amongst so many people. And I'm not saying he can't go to be a pitching coach. Like obviously not. He's not gonna do that. But would you be
Some
interested in
other
a
team would
higher
hire
role?
him as a manager if he still wanted him.
Oh, like I guarantee you, if there was a DFA in managers, every fucking team would put in a waiver claim. Maybe even the fucking Yankees would do that.
No, not every team. There would be like the Rays. I don't
Actually, no,
think
the
the
Yankees
Rays.
won't do that.
The Rays
And
would.
that's exactly why they won't fire him, though.
It's the same conversation. Like fucking Kevin Cash has been with the fucking Rays for so long, but like they
Yeah,
have their
but
own
Kevin Cash
problems.
is not the issue with the
He
Rays.
is absolutely not the fucking issue.
It's because the Rays are a small market team that just they don't
If
have.
anything, he should be praised for making them somewhat relevant.
Well, him and the front
But
office. But
anyways, but yeah, if they miss it, then yes, it's what 4 straight seasons they'd be missing the playoffs, right?
yeah,
If they're sellers at the deadline, like something's got.
yeah. The thing is, the one thing I do hate about Cora is I hate the notion that that 2018 team was going to win anyway, so like it's not a real accomplishment.
Well, here's something interesting.
It's still an accomplishment because you still have to manage all the personalities, all the people on the team. You have to manage their playing time. Manage the people. You have to still manage the people. Yes, are you expected to win with that team? Yes, but it's still a damn good achievement because there's how many teams have had great regular seasons and just shit the bed in the postseason, right?
True.
Like,
And Derek, me and you always say, if the Red Sox make the playoffs, good luck facing them, right?
they get in
They're
the
going to be a
postseason. This team,
force.
even the team as currently constructed right now, you add maybe a bullpen piece or two at the deadline, maybe a second starter. Good freaking luck, dude. Like, especially if they're healthy and they have Bregman healthy, and you get the big three potentially in the lineup. Like, oh, good luck. Good luck against this team. They get hot. We said it last year even with the team. Like, it's the same thing. Like
They were
this team
eliminated
gets
on game 160 officially.
yeah. Like this team gets hot. Like they can legitimately be a scary team, but the issue is they can't get hot and stay hot. They have that
Exactly.
19-5 game, which albeit mostly
they'll
was due to
split the
one
series.
massive inning, but
But
like
still, it's 19 runs. But
yes, but then the offense just kind of dies.
okay, real quick. You know what I think that people aren't really saying? If the Red Sox do miss the playoffs, you think Breslow gets canned?
There's enough there with Breslow in the minor leagues to keep.
Yes, I mean,
Yes,
the only
because
reason it's a maybe
the
is because he was
entire
their 10th option or whatever it was.
the
I wouldn't
entire
say
pitching.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't know if he's safe. I mean, to be fair, his free agent signing, the free agent signings are fucking phenomenal, right? Chapman, really good. Justin Wilson, even, yeah. Sean Newcomb, I know he was just DFA,
Yeah.
but like, what else? What more did you want from him?
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
right. They have been good, but then like
And even the
Sale
trades.
trade.
He was kind of hamstrung with that though.
The trades, the Crochet trade, having the balls to do what he did, woke
Yep.
up and was like, Max Fried's there. You know what? I love Braden Montgomery. I love Kyle Teal, but we gotta be aggressive here. And boom. Listen, Heim Blake. Look, if Heim Bloom was still here, he doesn't do the Crochet trade. We'd have Charlie Morton. I think Section 10.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that.
I think Heim doesn't do that Crochet trade.
No.
I'll just say that. But don't get me
maybe
wrong.
He
like
signs Fried instead. Maybe
it kind of sucks though in some ways. The only thing that sucks about the Crochet trade, and more than anything, in all honesty, is that they had to give up Chase Mindroth.
Come on, dude.
No. Listen to me on this. The Red Sox, now without Bregman, they could very well use a right-handed bat. Not that Mindroth would hit near the top or middle of the Red Sox lineup right now, but like Mindroth last year in Worcester played second, third, and short. Like if you had someone like Mindroth around, that's more of a reason. Oh, you have Mindroth. You didn't get rid of Story, right? Like, I'm not saying don't give up my job to not, like, if you don't get, like, if they could have maybe given up something else other than my job and gotten the trade done, I would have loved it maybe 10 times more. Because I love me some Chase my job, and that guy, Jake says it all the time on the Pest Report, he's a fucking ball player. My job, I don't think he's necessarily going to be like a elite level player, but like he's going to be like an everyday big leaguer for a long time.
He's good. He's good right now.
Yeah, I mean he's been solid. His numbers aren't like insanely better than Sogard's though, if we're being honest.
My job right now is hitting 307 with a 391 on base and a 376 slug.
Fuck it. Put Abraham Toro at third.
Who's playing
Fuck
first base then? Sogard hasn't been great.
Christian Campbell.
Sogard's, I think he hasn't been great, but he's been just about
Ryan
as good as you could have asked.
What did they give up for Noda? Nothing.
For who?
Noda.
Cash, I think.
Good.
Noda's was bad though.
Oh no, Noda's fucking ass.
I mean,
He's
it's
just
depth, right?
He's just depth.
I'm waiting for the Blaze Jordan AAA at some point. Like, that needs to happen at some point. Like, I know they got Noda now, so it makes that a lot more difficult. But like, Blaze Jordan,
dude, that's what I was thinking the other day.
Blaze Jordan is smoking, and Hunter has been on the shout out Hunter. He's been on this for like 3-4 weeks now, and I'm on that bandwagon with him. Even more so, like, get Blaze Jordan to AAA. Like, I understand Noda's got big league experience. He had a nice little 2023 with Oakland, but like, it's still. Like, Blaze Jordan has been so good in AA, and there's not really much else for him to do there. It's almost like the Nick York situation, except York like wasn't having the greatest of time in AA, but like it's like, okay, well, he's got nothing else to do there. Let's just move him with the Worcester, and then he started hitting.
Well,
with Blaze, Blaze now is like, but even then though, like even still, right? Whereas Blaze is now like he's steaming hot. You know, he's been hitting really well as of late, and like there's like it's a similar thing where he's got nothing left to do in AA, nothing left to do. I do have to ask though, this Red Sox team, like, I do wonder, is there going to be a point in time where they're going to have to make tough decisions anyways, and not just with Story, right? But like, let's use this example. The Red Sox right now, the rotation is Crochet, Bayo, Dobbins, Giolito, and Buehler. They're going to have Fitz coming back soon, or at least he'll be healthy soon. And then Houck at some point you would assume is going to be back. And you have Cutter Crawford, who the heck knows what's going on with him. Patrick Sandoval is going to be healthy at some point this year. Who knows how Zach Penrod fits in the mix? I think he probably is going to go back to being a bullpen guy this year. Same thing with Chris Murphy, but still, like, you have what, like...
How has he been? Whoa.
Murphy?
Wow. I know he got Tommy John, but like,
yeah.
Wow. I haven't heard that name in a minute.
But like, between Crawford, Sandoval, Fitz, and Houck, who are all injured, and then you add on the 5 that are currently in the rotation in Crochet, Bayo, Dobbins, Giolito, and Buehler. At some point, even if there's a couple injuries, you are going to have to, figure out, okay, who's going to be in the rotation.
Yeah, 100%. They have tough decisions to make coming.
Worry especially about that when they need to worry about
I know, but like, also too, like,
the easy ones are use the options on people who have them, right?
Yes. But like, what happens too, also, this is when you get near the deadline, obviously we don't know how the team's going to play the next 2 months, but if they're the same team they are now in terms of inconsistent, streaky, kind of just, whatever, like, they very well could move off of a Buehler or a Giolito in the rotation and not have to, like, worry about calling up, like, people who don't have big league experience.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they will necessarily. I mean, they have the pieces, though, in terms of, like, to have a good rotation and stuff. Like, if Buehler is at his best, if Giolito can become more consistent with Crochet being what he is, all you need is 2 of Bayo, Dobbins, Fitz, Houck, and then Crawford and Sandoval once those 2 are actually healthy.
Guys, right? You know what's actually interesting is the Giolito option this year. Because he's not going to hit the inning mark. I forget what it is, like 160 innings or something. Because he's probably not going to hit that. They have, what, a $12 or $14 million option? I wonder if they accept that.
No. Bye-bye. Thank you
I
for
agree.
your service.
I don't think they should.
I think they should use
Absolutely
the money elsewhere.
not. Why the hell would you take that?
But
As right now, unless he lost him.
here's why. Let's say he ends
It's a
the season.
It's a 14 million club option if he's under 140 innings.
Okay, so there you go. So Jason, let's say he ends the season with like a 4 flat ERA and he gave you 130 innings. I think they'd be tempted to say yes.
No, you find.
I
another,
think they
you
might
find,
be.
You find another guy who's
to,
cheaper on the market. That's been their philosophy.
Remember
That's
when
been their
Frankie
fucking
Montas
philosophy.
didn't Frankie Montas though last year just get 15 million from the Reds for 1 year?
Oh, yeah.
I think it would very much be.
Hear me out. But hear me out. Why the fuck would you accept that if you can decline and get the QO?
It's a club option.
You can decline. You can decline it.
Because he takes the qualifying offer, he would accept it, and so that costs you an extra.
I'm fucking
$8 million.
I'm fucking stupid. It's a club option. I thought it was a player option.
No, it's a club option.
I'm sorry, mutual.
No, it's a club option. It's a mutual It's a mutual option.
Is it mutual or is it?
So the mutual is if he goes over 140 innings, and that would be at 19 million. It's a 14 million club option if he goes if he's under 140.
What's the buyout on that?
It doesn't.
I think it's $1 million.
I don't know what it is.
I mean, I would be done with him either way.
It's 1.5. 1.5 is the buyout.
Honestly, maybe
1.5 is the buyout.
The market. I forgot how bad the market is because Pivetta declined a $21 million option and he was shit.
It's going to be better this year. I mean, there are a lot of good options available, though.
But even that, okay. Well, okay. You have to consider
the middle guys are fucked.
You have to look at who the Red Sox have, though. I don't think it's necessarily whether it's going to be worth it or not. I think you have to look at who the Red Sox have in the because I think 14 million for Giolito. When if you don't have to, you have to pay him a $1.5 million buyout. So realistically, it's about a $12.5 million difference for what you would pay Giolito. So that $12.5 million, do I think it would be worth it? Monetarily, yes. But you have Crochet, Bayo, Dobbins, Crawford, Houck, Fitz, Patrick Sandoval.
Yes.
But
the problem is,
if you want to add another top line starter, whether it's someone like Assis or Framber Valdez or whoever it is, if they want to add someone like that on top of the guys they already have, bringing back Giolito makes no sense. I think that's more so that's how I see it. Even if it monetarily would be worth it.
Do you guys want them to go after a Cease, a King, a Gallen this offseason?
Yes.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's the simple. I mean, any of those arms make your team better, right? And you're gonna, but then, no. I'm not saying I don't want him. I do, but it does make the Giolito thing interesting. Because what if Walker Buehler just? I think he wants to stay, but what if he does pitch to like a 3-5?
He's got a $25 million mutual option.
No, that is not being accepted. When was the last time
No, it's not. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, though, guys. Even if Buehler say great and you want to bring him back, they need another arm at least like him because outside of
you can get better with Buehler. You can get better for Buehler at money that's not going to be too much different, albeit you will have to give more term. But on an AAV,
the thing is, though,
Bryson, you still have to get Bregman back too.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to opt in though. But of their returning starting pitchers next year, they have Crochet, and that's really it. I mean, is Bayo a proven starter at this point?
I think Bayo could he at least has proven himself to where he can be in the top 5 of the rotation. At the very least, he will be one of them.
Okay, so let's say Bayo can be your 4. Generously, I'll say he can be your 4. You have your 1 locked in. You have your 4 locked in. Let's say you also have your 5 locked in because it'll be Fitz or Dobbins.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or Houck also's in the mix, and
yes,
someone. Okay. It'll be someone.
Now you need a 2 and a 3. That's a lot to do in the offseason. I wouldn't go get a $200 million arm. Maybe you don't get Cease, but maybe you get Flaherty and keep Buehler.
Flaherty scares me.
Okay, then maybe you get Imanaga and you keep Buehler.
No, club option. That's a $57 million club option for 3 years. That's getting accepted.
Is it a club option?
Yes, it's a club option.
Okay, so then Michael King and Walker Buehler. I mean, I'd be satisfied with that.
Yeah,
I would love that. I mean, imagine your rotation is Crochet.
I'm not against King. My only my question is,
Who do you want then?
I mean, I would rather swing on someone like a Brandon Woodruff, maybe, depending on how they feel he looks this season.
Yeah,
Has he pitched
I'd
yet?
prefer the proven commodity.
I
Has
mean,
he
Woodruff
pitched
is a
yet?
proven commodity, though. I mean, he's gonna.
But he got major shoulder surgery, though. He got
No,
major
I
shoulder
know.
surgery,
Depending
and
on
that's
how he look.
concerning.
No, I know, but that's why I said depending on how he looks this year. That's why, like, depending on how he looks.
What about Shane Bieber?
That's another injury guy, and I don't know if he's going to pitch this
But
year. So
the point is they realistically are going to have to sign/re-sign 2 starters this offseason again. And that shows you how guys like Bayo, Hauk, and Cutter and people of that caliber have failed to take the step forward, which really sucks.
yeah, maybe I'm looking right now, like at names, like maybe someone to fill the 3 spot. Like that's what I'm trying to figure out right now.
So who are
There's
you
no
assuming is in
such
the 2
thing. There's
spot?
no such thing as like mid. Like
if you're looking on
the mid player market is just not existent anymore.
yeah, no, it's
Either
like
you're good or you're
Eflin has been ass this year. Like,
Well, Derek, are you assuming Bueller's the 2?
no, I mean like if you're signing 2 free agents, right? Like if
I
you were
could
to
totally
sign,
see them doing like a Bueller and a Flaherty type thing.
I don't see them getting
maybe.
fired.
I mean, maybe
Very likely.
But
Derek
something
Spetty
like
hasn't been
that, like
great this
Bueller, and
year.
then like another guy who's
I think you're
a
looking lower
9-figure deal.
caliber than Flaherty if you're looking for more like a 3. I feel like that's what I'm trying to figure out though. Like who would it be? Like that's the difficult part. Also too, like is someone like if you bring on like someone like a Michael King, is he really like is Michael King really gonna be your 2 if you're like not that I don't think that's one where I'm kind of like if
I mean,
Michael
it's a drastic upgrade over 8 ERA
no, but
Hauk.
like I would feel a heck of a lot more comfortable if Michael King was my 3. You know what I mean? I'm not
Well,
saying the Red
yes.
Sox are able to do that. I'm just saying that in terms of like do you take a flyer on someone who maybe has upside, a la I don't know, like Dustin May potentially. Like I don't love that. I know his injury proneness can be,
Injury prone.
Yeah, I
but
don't
like
love that.
do you take a fly? I mean, well, but the thing is, May is only going to be in his age 28 season next year, right? So like, do you take a flyer on someone like him? Like I'm not saying they should. I'm just saying
Mm.
like I'm just like trying to like even think like
Okay,
who even makes
as your 3,
sense.
that's fine, but who would be your 2 then?
Then I think you maybe go after maybe like I don't know what Framber's market would look like. I've liked Framber for a while.
Yeah,
I
I
know
mean,
he
I would
hasn't
take
been
Framber.
great so far this year, but I trust. I feel like I would trust
Is
Framber.
is
He's been
this year the
solid this
CBA
year.
year or
No,
is
but
it
I
the
mean he
next
hasn't
year?
been as good as he was last year. Is what I mean. Like,
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, dude. Looking at Framber's stats, 2021 3-1, 2022 2-8, 2023 3-4, 2-9, 3-4. Like he's just so solid. I would take him immediately.
and I feel like he would slide in perfectly behind Crochet as the number 2,
Yeah, I mean
right?
that'd be a sick lift. Yeah, I mean that'd
And
be sick. I
and
would
then
take
like
Framber always.
because I don't think Framber is going to be as expensive as Gallon. I don't think he's going to be as expensive as Gallon potentially, or
Yeah,
definitely
little
not
bit
as
more
expensive
old.
as Cease.
Right, a little bit older. Yeah.
Yeah, so
I mean,
like
if you got me Framber and then you re-signed Bueller, would you like that?
definitely. Oh, absolutely. I think it
Yeah, I
also depends
agree.
on what Bueller looks like the rest of this year. I think that's also the big.
Yes. See, I'm assuming like Bueller finishes the year with 25 starts, 3.8 or so ERA, FIP a little bit lower than that. Solid, very solid.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's kind of where Bueller fits in. Looking, what about like Ranger Suarez is going to be a free agent? That could be an interesting middle of the rotation arm, maybe. I know he's also a lefty, but like that's a name where if you're looking more middle rotation kind of guy, that could be interesting.
Sneaky again, closer's going to become a big need. They could I mean, Chapman's been great. If he finishes like this, they could re-sign him on a 1-year deal, but if Hauk's not working as a starter, I don't mind him.
Maybe. Sir Anthony Dominguez is a free agent. I love Sir Anthony Dominguez. Can they just bring him in just for the fact they absolutely like just is like just he pitched
Jesus
well.
Christ! The fact that we're talking about next offseason is just how bad we are right now.
I was just going to say that.
I
Jason.
know.
It shows how
Fucking
little
Christ.
fun we're having with the team this year.
I know. Oh, I know. It's bad. It's kind of bad, yeah. But you know what would be absolutely hilarious?
A
If
lot of
Devin
shit.
Williams shits the bed this year, and then the Red Sox sign him, and he goes back to being an elite closer.
That would be wonderful.
With a Rolls Chapman.
Is Williams a free agent after this year?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Oh boy. I mean,
Yes.
would I give him
Fuck you, Yankees.
would I give him 9 figures? No, but
No,
like
Fuck
no,
no.
no, hell no.
would I give him a Tanner Scott deal? No.
He's also not worth 8 figures.
He's also
But,
not
like-
pitching well this year.
I mean, guys, but when he's good and his changeup's
No,
on,
that's
I
what
mean,
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, though.
I mean, if you can get that out of him, like, yeah, I'll take him in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me?
Like, it would also be hilarious because he's shitting the bed for the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
But I kind of like the idea. Like, I don't like that both Framber and Ranger Suarez are both lefties, but like,
Yeah,
you
you'd have to do one or the other.
because you also have Crochet as a lefty. But then again, 3 lefties in your rotation isn't like the worst thing in the world. I just think like you would have to do it to where like Crochet and like Framber maybe they could start back to back, but then you'd have to have someone else start before you pitch.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
or
Ranger
you could do
Suarez.
something like Crochet, Bueller, Framber, Bayo, Dobbins, something like that.
Well, no, I mean like if you were to like as of right now, like if they brought what if they brought in like Framber and Ranger Suarez is what I'm saying. Brought in both of them. You could go like Crochet,
Framber, Bayo,
someone,
Ranger.
like a
This,
and then Ranger Suarez, like something like that.
Ooh. Why?
You could do something like that.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know
sorry,
we're
Jason.
down bad. It's May fucking 25th.
And we're talking about them
we're
bringing
talking
in Ranger
about
I know.
Suarez.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have brought
Rangers.
that up. I'm sorry.
No,
because I like this.
No,
I like.
thank you for bringing it up. Now I get to shit on this team more. No, if anything, thank you for bringing it up.
Hey, maybe the Red Sox will actually, sign a pitcher from Japan for once.
What about Roki though? Man, he's been struggling.
Health.
Velo is down.
Health.
Fastball sucks.
Health.
Get ready to learn Tommy John.
Poor guy.
Yeah. Sucks though too, because he also went to the biggest market in LA.
Yeah, and I mean that was probably a mistake.
Small market. I want to pitch. I want to pitch.
I do legitimately think Roki would have been better off in a small market. In a team
I agree.
Somewhere like not that they necessarily they do they have they already have a decent core of young pitching, but somewhere like Cincinnati would have been perfect for him.
I mean, Seattle, it looked like he was a Mariner, but I think the Otani Yamamoto Japanese connection obviously helped. But I agree, he would have been better off somewhere where it's
Imagine him in Cincinnati with Hunter Green, Andrew Abbott has a 1.77 ERA, Lodolo, Nick Martinez.
Yeah, that would have been a nice rotation.
Brady Singer hasn't been that great this year.
And aren't they getting Frankie back too?
I don't think Frankie Montas.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
They have the Reds also have Rhett Lauder, although he's on the injured list. And then they have who is it? They have Chase
Clay
Petty
Holmes
in
becoming
AAA.
a good starter was so weird.
Hey,
can I ask a dumb question?
No questions are dumb.
Very off topic.
Ask.
Is Kenley Jansen going to travel to Colorado this year?
No.
Yeah, I don't know.
He's got to save in each of his last. Kenley's got a 4.96 ERA though, so.
Damn, is it that high? Wow.
Yeah.
So we did. Imagine we had him instead of Chapman.
Oh God.
No, I was done with Kenley, and Kenley.
I totally agree. Though I would have taken him back as a setup man. But Chris Martin is doing as awesome as ever. 1.83 ERA in 22 games. Guys, his record is 0-4 though.
Holy shit! Reed Detmers has a 7.52 ERA and is in the bullpen.
Damn.
Lol.
Jesus.
Whatever happened to Braxton Garrett? I
don't know what happened to him.
He's still hurt? He must be.
Probably. The fucking Marlins medical staff doesn't know shit.
Sixto Sanchez.
Oh, he's playing in Mexico now, I think.
Remember he came back last year for a few games after not pitching.
Then he had too many Hawaiian
this
rolls
year,
and had to be DFA'd.
He hasn't done GX. Braxton Garrett's on a 60-day injured list with an elbow injury. That's what Fangraph says it
Again.
doesn't say anything else.
Guys, this has been a really solid 45-minute episode.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Add an hour to that. Dude, what the? So Garrett had UCL revision surgery. You know who did get Tommy John though for the Marlins? Who we haven't seen?
Edward Cabrera.
No.
No, he's pitching. Yuri Perez is coming back.
Yep, he is. Although he's
coming back in
struggled
June.
Yeah, he struggled though on his last rehab assignment, I think.
Yeah.
2 3 1/3, 2 runs.
The potential there is
Speaking of Marlins pitchers sucking, yeah,
Sandy Alcantara.
Alcantara has been fucking awful.
Oh my gosh, he's been so, and it's like
he's been worse than Houck.
It's every start too, dude. It's every single start. Houck at least, okay, yeah, he had the 2 starts where he gave up, 10 or 12 or 13, whatever. But like Alcantara,
Dude, that
every
rotation
start, 6, 7,
stinks.
He won the Cy Young 3 years ago.
It's crazy what happened.
And
what value would you guys place to Yuri Perez? I don't know why I'm curious about this, but
I don't know, because the injury scares me. That coming right off of Tommy John scares me.
Did he get Tommy John or internal?
Yeah, Tommy John. Because he missed all of last year, I think.
Yeah, he did, I think.
Tommy John last April.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
The upside is crazy, though, guys. Yeah, he missed all last year.
I don't know. I mean, the doctors fucked up Alcantara.
What was his highest prospect rank?
Yuri Perez?
Yeah.
I'm on it.
He was high.
He was number 7 on Baseball America pre-2023, number 13 on MLB Pipeline, number 11 on Baseball Prospectus. You know who is coming back though from injury? Who's another massive pitching prospect?
Andrew Painter.
Yep.
I read your mind.
Yep, Painter has been up.
Let's see. Yuri Perez. When did he debut?
2023.
Yeah. And he was good. He was good.
Shit. Yuri Perez, 41 for MLB Pipeline in 2022. Let's see what 2021 was. That was number 1.
Yuri Perez was number 7 in 2023. He wasn't on and for Baseball America. For MLB Pipeline, he was 13 in 2023.
Yep. Yeah, Andrew Painter was 6. Wait, what the hell was...
How is Kyle Stowers playing so well?
I don't know.
922 OPS. Damn.
Drew Jones was 15 in 2023.
You know what's obnoxious about the Orioles? They already have Adley Rutschman.
Charlie Morton.
They already have Adley Rutschman, and then they arguably have the best catching prospect in baseball.
Yeah.
Well, Adley Rutschman sucks.
Jason, remember that thing you sent about trading Houck? Yeah. That rumor would have been nice right about now.
I mean, no, but it's revisionist history, too.
Yes, it is.
Because no Red Sox fan in the right mind would have predicted this would happen. Nobody... I had text from people saying this guy's going to fucking be the Cy Young.
Hold on, guys. Supposedly the Padres are exploring a trade for left fielder.
Well, they don't know. They got I looked at the Padres.
Ding, 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 ding. We have one.
They don't know because who are they gonna Ethan Salas plus? They don't have enough other pieces unless they trade DeVries, who's their 19-year-old.
Dude, they'll just
their 17-year-old shortstop in A.
They'll trade one of the pitchers. They're gonna lose King or Cease in free agency. They'll trade Michael King for Jarren Duran.
No, they won't.
How about Nick Pivetta for Jarren Duran?
That would be no, but I'll take King for Duran.
Fucking mind.
I would do King for Duran in a heartbeat, and you'll extend him immediately.
You better hope he signs an extension.
No.
Yeah, I know.
Also, King's also currently on the injured list with shoulder inflammation. So. Yeah.
He's also.
No, but I think Cease is. Gallen is, right?
Oh well, hold on. There's not 100% guarantee that Michael King goes to free agency. He has a $15 million mutual option.
That's no shot.
He's going to free agency.
He's going to free agency.
It's a $3.7 million buyout.
I mean, the Padres will pick up their side
for sure.
Their end, but yeah.
Yeah, no, trading Duran the Padres. the only way it works is the Padres would have to give DeVries or DeVrice or whatever his name is, who's their 17-year-old shortstop playing an A ball.
Yeah.
Just add that. Oh, he's the number 3 prospect in baseball. Actually, sorry, he's in high A now at 17 years old. Oh, sorry, he's turned 18 now. Still, it's his age. Oh, sorry, he's 18 now, but he's in high A at 18. Okay, he's got an 841 OPS in 36 games in high A as an 18-year-old. So,
No, I'm all set.
I mean, that's bonkers. If it's either him or you'd have to do Ethan Salas, but you'd have to do Salas plus pieces, and that's the issue.
Salas. I've been tracking Salas.
But they don't have anything else. And I'm not gonna lie, Salas scares me because they pushed him so far through the minors, where it's I don't know. And he's also currently injured.
Wasn't he in low A as a 16-year-old?
Yes.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Salas is 18 now. He turns 19 on June 1st.
Hey, it's Michael King's birthday today. What the
Salas
fuck?
has been on the injured list for the last 2 weeks with a lower back stress reaction. And Salas also has not been great. He's hitting 188, although he's got a 325 on base, but only a 219 slug in Double A.
Yeah,
it's only 10 games though, but still, even last year in high A, he had a 599 OPS, and they're like, "Yep, we're moving him up to Double A."
My ass hurts. Can we wrap it up?
That's where the Padres just. Ugh.
Appreciate you guys very much for having me on.
With the Padres,
no. You got to stay for serious predictions real quick.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
They play games this week.
You know who could be a fit for an outfielder in the offseason, though?
They play 6. They play 6 games this week. Shut the fuck up, Derek. They play 6 games this week against the Brew Crew, and then we go into June with the Braves. Oh no, they only play 2 games. Wait, do they play 3 against the Braves?
Yeah, it's 3.
Fucking Fridays on Apple TV Plus. Fuck you.
Gosh, darn it.
Anyways, we'll start with Jack. Jack, record this week.
Okay, I'm gonna have
projected pitchers.
I'm gonna have them beating Milwaukee 2-1 because then they'll be back at 500, and then Atlanta. I don't have a sweep either way. I'll go. Just want to check this last pitching matchup one more time, real quick. Do we finally get over the hump? Probably not. I'm gonna go 1-2 against Atlanta. I'll give them 3-3 this week.
I'm on that train, Derek.
They're gonna go 2-1, and then the Braves series. The first 2 games they're gonna split, and then the last game is gonna get rained out, and they're gonna be stuck right at 500.
Yeah, probably.
I guess that'd be good. Play the game once we get hot.
Lull moment of the week. I don't know. You can just look at the Red Sox. Did you have one, Derek?
The lull moment of the week is I don't know.
Abraham Toro home runs.
Oh no, our lull moment of the week, because it's utterly ridiculous that this is even possible. Although it just happened today, I think it was. O'Neal Cruz hit a ball 122.9 miles per hour.
Oh my gosh, I saw that. That was insane.
Why is that lull moment?
Roman Anthony,
because it's actually absurd. It's so absurd that it's funny that someone can actually hit the ball that hard. It's so absurd.
Yeah, it is.
Roman
Anthony 116 off the bat.
Lull moment of the week. Trevor Story's still playing every day for the Red Sox.
Lull moment of the week. Roman Anthony still in AAA.
I think that's less of a lull than Trevor Story still playing every day.
Equal.
No, because Trevor Story's been still employed. No, lull. Reese McGuire's still employed.
Reese McGuire had 2 homers today.
Yes.
No. I got it. Here, our lull moment of the week. So, Reese McGuire took number 20 with the Chicago Cubs, which was last worn by Miles.
Let's see, lull moment of the week. Fangraphs says Cooper Criswell slated to pitch on Tuesday. So
yeah.
Fuck me.
Why? Oh, because they put Bueller today.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gosh. Darn it. Oh.
Wrap it up.
What the? So hold on, real quick. I do want to see the projected pitchers from the MLB app.
It's probably not announced.
MLB app just says to be decided. So yeah, I would assume it's
Yo.
gonna be Chris Wall.
Yeah,
Because they have
Yeah,
Bayo,
because
they have Bayo on Wednesday and they have Crochet on Monday. So hey, it's a two Crochet
Crochet.
start week.
Yes, exactly. They'll win tomorrow. They'll win tomorrow. I mean, Chad Patrick, I'm not too worried about him. Hopefully they get after him.
Does anyone know if Atlanta's lined up to pitch Sale?
check.
No.
fan.
Oh Lord, no. But
Holmes, Schwellenbach, and
oh,
Schreier.
hold on. No, it might not be a 2-start week for Crochet this week because if they go Criswell on Tuesday, then they'll go Bayo, Giolito, Dobbins, and then Bueller on Sunday. Criswell pushes
ESPN
everyone
has
back a bit.
Bueller and Strider on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, Bueller and Strider, and then Crochet pitches Monday against the Angels, and then that Sunday, the Sunday that week.
Good road trip nonetheless.
Yep. Oh, great.
Win games.
Oh no, but then
Dunk
Crochet
on.
gets to pitch on the Sunday against the Yankees. So,
Nice.
Up your ass, New York.
and then he faces them the next weekend in Boston as well,
You know
probably
what?
on a
That's
Saturday.
fine.
So you know what? It works out okay. So
Yeah.
also wait for
Yeah,
that
okay.
Yankees series. The Saturday game is on Fox. The Sunday game's on ESPN. The next weekend, the Saturday's on Fox. Thank the Lord that Sunday isn't on ESPN as well. So I'm shocked they didn't put the Friday game on Apple TV as well, but that's besides. So a lot of national TV games. Before we wrap up, this is a long one. Any final thoughts?
Go Sox. That's my final
That's
thought.
my line.
Dang it.
That is Jason's line.
Go Marcelo Meyer.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, I love that.
My final thoughts. If the big league team is not being fun for you, just watch the minor leagues.
Well, I
They're
have
more
no
fun.
choice.
I know you don't have any choice, Jason. I mean, I don't really have a choice either, but
I mean, yeah, you do. You can just
not
look at the
really.
box score and bullshit.
No. But no, go watch the minor leagues. Go watch Greenville's rotation. Absolutely deal. Watch the other stuff, and yeah, I don't have anything else. I don't think. So yeah. Oh, actually, before we go, actually,
Jesus
I do have
fucking Christ, you said that
no.
3 times.
I do have one thing. I did have something. I actually did have something. With I did want to also mention Tariq Skubal. This is I don't know if we want to like this is not we don't really have a true lull moment in the week. So I just also want to bring up the fact that Tariq Skubal threw a Maddox and his last pitch was over 102 miles per hour. On his 94th pitch of the game. Shout out to Tariq Skubal. He's on my fantasy team. Yay. But yeah, that's it. Because Tariq Skubal probably might just win the Cy Young again. It would be nice if the Red Sox could get Tariq Skubal, but it's not going to happen, unfortunately. With that, we're going to wrap it up. Jack, thank you for joining us.
Thank you both very much.
Yes, the yep, and the invite is always open for Jack to join us. So hopefully hopefully all our schedules will work out, and we can have Jack on more. And for Jason, as always, my name is Derek. Thanks for tuning into the Fenway Focus, and we will see you next time.
Go Sox.
That sounded lame.
Fuck you.